What's good, YouTube? Justin Righteous here, back with another reaction video. I like to yap on world topics, but I don't just yap, I dissect. I break down the content, I share lessons from my own experiences, and I call out the misinformation. Today we have a Matrix video. Google search drops below 90% for the first time. What happened? Whoa. Google search drops below 90%. 90%? That's a lot. For Google? I mean, Google is the Matrix. You know what I mean? Google controls our consciousness. Google controls what we see on the internet. I'm using a Google platform right now, YouTube. Google, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix. These are the things that control our consciousness. You know, because we log in more and more. So let's see what's going on. Is it because of ChatGPT? Maybe.
Google is panicking. For the first time in 10 years, the company's grip on search has slipped. Its market share recently dropped below 90% to 89.34%. Okay, what's the...
Oh my God, I was reading that wrong the whole time. Below 90%. Below 90. But see, I wasn't reading it wrong. I was understanding it wrong, but it's kind of like clickbaity if you think about it a little bit. Anyways,
a big deal. That seems
that's
like
not that
nothing.
much.
But
for
Google,
it's the first time though,
this
so it is serious.
Is a big problem. Google doesn't dip, not in search, never until now. Even a 1% drop represents tens of millions of users actively choosing something else, and it's just the beginning.
Yeah, it is just
on May 7th, 2025, Apple announced that they were
I actually don't use, I still use Google. I use Google if I want a quick search, like if I want to like know what a word means, a definition, or if I'm like looking for something on the internet. If I'm looking for something on the internet, like a website or an article or like an app or like something like that, like even an app, like, you know, I've been using ChatGPT a little bit, like what apps will help me do this. You know, if I'm trying to understand something though, I'd go straight to ChatGPT. Back then I'd go to Google, I'd read some articles, but you know, you read articles, the people who pay the most for advertisement, they're going to be at the top. So you don't really know what information the information they're giving you is like more for them. You know, it's more beneficial to traffic onto their website. ChatGPT doesn't really have that type of bias. It might have the thing with ChatGPT is that it's biased to your liking. You know, what you say, the prompt that you give, it's going to be biased towards your prompt. That's why you have to be very clear with your prompts. That's why prompt engineering is a thing, you know. But anyways, like I said, I've been using ChatGPT way more than Google lately. But I still use Google for sure.
Actively looking at AI-powered search engines, which would replace Google as the default option on the iPhone and other devices. Google shares immediately dropped 7.5%, losing the company $150 billion worth of market
Insane.
cap. We might be witnessing the biggest transformation on the internet since the 2000s. But how? What is drawing millions of users away from Google?
Google not gonna fall off though. It can't. Like, I don't really think it could. Maybe it could.
Let's wind back the clock a bit.
It has Gemini
In
now.
April 2015, Google finally reached 90% market share and has held on to that number tightly. Bing, Yahoo, and all other search engines fight for less than 10%.
Jeez.
Everyone just uses Google, most not even knowing that other search engines exist. But when a company has such a massive monopoly, things tend to go a certain direction.
Yes.
When there's no...
This is actually the topic of, like, one of the topics in the book 0 to 1 for startups. It explains how a lot of monopolies, they forget that they still have to fight because the younger, more energetic, more present, more relatable form is coming to get their ass, you know.
Competition, there's no drive to make a better product, only to make more money. Google search has slowly become worse and worse. Researchers have found Google results have become cluttered with more and more low-quality SEO optimized content.
Yeah, SEO optimized content is
Google ticks, and gaming the algorithm became the entire focus with keyword clusters.
SEO optimized is kind of a weird way to say it because SEO means search engine optimization. So people will like put things in their site, in their website, to make it more optimized for you to see it when you search things up on Google. That's what SEO is. So there are actually like people who like go to like school for this. Not school, but like they take courses on SEO optimization. There are people who make money for this. There are people who their only job is SEO optimization.
Internal link structures, or the amount of page content. That's how you get recipes, which are 3,000 word blog posts answering how to boil an egg. It's not better results.
Oh my God. Have you ever searched up a cooking recipe on Google and you're just flooded with ads? You can't even see the recipe. You don't even know where the recipe is. Just so many ads. Let's do it right now. Right quick. Let's do something very simple. Grilled. Look. The best grilled cheese recipe. Oh my God, bro. I can't wait. Let's click on the first one, guys. Let's click on the first one. Okay, we already got some. Like, okay, my 2 golden rules for a great grilled, like, bro, it's a grilled cheese. Look, ad right there in the middle. Bunch of ads here on the side. They're still loading in. That's how many ads there are, because they're still loading in. Use 2 types of cheese, a picture, okay. Then take it to heights from excellent to heights to greatness. Then take it from excellent to new heights of greatness. Okay. What you need. Yo, this is a long page, bro. Just for a grilled cheese. Just for a grilled cheese. Look. Recipe video above. Couldn't you just have put this on the top? Look, another ad right here. Like the page has a hard time loading. All this for a grilled cheese, bro. Imagine. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Let's get back into the video. Let's talk about
It's
Google.
just better at tricking Google's system to rank higher, but it gets worse. Remember, Google is a public company. Even though they control the market, Wall Street doesn't want stability. They want growth. Investors want growing profits, not consistent profits. Not through better products, but through more monetization. There was a strong internal conflict between product teams and ad teams. One wanted better products, but the other wanted more money. And unfortunately, I think we all know who won. Google became more and more ad-focused and objectively worse. Don't believe me? Well, maybe you'll believe Google's own past employees. Ben Gomez, the past head of search at Google, wrote an internal email that, "I think we are getting too close to the money. I think it is good for us to aspire to query growth and to aspire to more users, but I think we are getting too involved with ads for the good of the product and the company." The past vice president of engineering, search, and discover had similar opinions. "I think finance folks are running like chickens with heads cut off. I guess the free ride is ending, and this is the first time they have to figure out how our business actually works." For context, at this time in 2019, Google had declared a code yellow from concern it might not meet its revenue goals that quarter. Goals that just mean up forever. There was a good reason our founder separated search from ads. That separation is getting more and more blurred, but there's another problem. Once Google got massive, they stayed massive not by being better, but by spending more money. Google just pays search browsers billions of dollars to be the default option. Sure, they own the biggest browser, Chrome, but the rest, like Safari or Firefox, would use Google because they were paid to. In fact, they paid as much as $20 billion to be the default search engine on iPhones.
Yeah, I heard about
the
that.
US
though.
Department of Justice was
Actually,
naturally not
iPhones
too
paid
happy
Google.
about this. They battled Google in court and were labeled an illegal monopoly. Many people don't use Google because it's better, but out of habit and it being the default. Some aren't even aware of alternatives. A judge of the US District Court said that, Google willfully engaged in a series of anti-competitive acts to acquire and maintain monopoly power in the publisher, ad server, and ad exchange markets for open web display advertising. And all of that brings us back to today. The focus on maintaining a monopoly instead of making a better product is coming back to bite them. In September 2024, Google had 90% market share, but that fell to 89.34% in October. Since then, every month outside of one, Google has been below 90%. So, what's next?
Whoa, it dropped 2%. This is crazy.
We all know about the surge
something
in
much
AI
bigger.
recently. It seems like ChatGPT and the others that followed have impacted literally every industry on Earth. Every product, software, or hardware has had AI slapped on it, even things that don't make any sense. But one of the biggest disruptions was very recently. In late 2024, ChatGPT made a revolutionary change. Search.
OpenAI has announced it's rolling out its ChatGPT search engine for free.
Yeah,
it will be
because it
available
used
to
to be
everyone with
part
an
of the paid
OpenAI
service.
account.
If you open ChatGPT, under the text field is the search button. Typing from there will bring up search results with the information and the article you can visit.
Yeah.
Google has already sort of introduced similar things, but what OpenAI is looking to do is to turn this incredibly popular product into a kind of completely new type of search and potentially make a fortune off it.
In a survey of 5,000 US consumers, 39% used AI for online shopping, 43% for local food recommendations, 47% for product recommendations, and 55% for conducting research. This is growing and fast. In February, traffic from generative AI sources increased by 1,200% compared to July 2024. So why AI? How is this better than just searching for it on Google? Well, let's start with the obvious. It gets rid of Google's annoying, messy results. You don't have to scroll past 4 or more ads just to find what you were looking for. It might not be quite as instant as Google, but it saves your time by only providing what's actually helpful, not what some company paid to have you see. This alone is huge, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The big difference between search engines and AI platforms like GPT and Perplexity is context. Google is designed around keyword-based queries because it's built for speed and scale, for billions of searches pulling from billions of results. To find content, you need to match keywords and ignore all the fluff from your search. AI, on the other hand, are often language models so they can understand context. For example, maybe you're troubleshooting but are not the most tech-savvy person. You can ask for help but also provide that context for extremely specific instructions in basic language. You might ask,
I think you
my
could
second
do that now
monitor
with
keeps
Google.
flickering randomly. It only started after I swapped to a DisplayPort cable. I've already updated my GPU drivers and checked refresh rate settings. Then, it recognizes things you've already tried, rule out a lot of results that aren't helpful, and can ask follow-up questions and identify known issues with parts of your problem in particular. With Google Search, it can't really do the same thing, and it might just bring you more results like fix flickering screen, meaning you have to look through more of the same results before you find something new and
Gemini
helpful.
has like
Plus, if you don't know why something is happening or the
Google
right
uses
keyword
Gemini
you're
now in their
missing,
search.
you're out of luck. This isn't supposed to be a sales pitch for AI. There are clearly plenty of kinks. It will sometimes bring you wrong information or get stuck in a loop. To be clear, I'm not saying AI will replace search altogether, at least not anytime soon, but AI clearly does a lot that search engines can't. And this is the first major alternative to Google we've had in over a decade, and it's definitely for the better. Stats show that users referred by AI search spent 8% more time on websites, viewed 12% more pages, and exhibited a 23% lower bounce rate compared to those referred by traditional search methods. I think this is because the sources you get with AI are more relevant, so you find what you're looking for faster and stay longer, instead of opening a search result on Google, bounce off, try another, bounce off, and etc.
Yeah, that's a big one. Because you go on Google and you check one article and then, no, not this one. Then you check another article, not this one. But if you use ChatGPT, you get your answer right away. Right away. You get exactly what you were asked right away.
This is where that dip in Google's market share went, and Google is starting to panic.
Yeah, they should.
If you weren't convinced Google is panicking, look no further than its own staff. Scott Jensen, a 16-year veteran and former product manager at Google, explained that the AI projects I was working on were poorly motivated and driven by this mindless panic that as long as it had AI in it, it would be great. This myopia is not something driven by user need. It is a stone-cold panic that they are getting left behind. Google is getting left behind, and that terrifies them. So what have they done? Google has been stumbling left and right with AI. There was the failure with Bard, which stated incorrect facts in Google's very own marketing.
Google says such issues are to be expected and will be addressed by its trusted testers.
Then there was Gemini, which failed in its very first demo.
Check my calendar and see if I'm free when she's coming to San Francisco this year. Gemini pulls relevant content from the image, connects with my calendar, and gives me the information I'm looking for. Oh, looks like we had a little demo issue. Let me try one more time.
Then
That
they
is
raced to integrate
embarrassing.
Gemini into search, which would give you answers right away at the top of search. But it was a bit
ChatGPT does
undercooked.
that too, though.
That's when we got results where Gemini helpfully suggested adding some glue to pizza, or that users should eat one small
about
rock
that.
per day, and that rocks are vital sources of minerals and vitamins.
I mean,
After these,
isn't that true?
Google temporarily pulled Gemini, and Alphabet saw a $70 billion drop in share value. Google has now ironed out these kinks and reintroduced Gemini, though they lost a lot of valuable time. Google has also ramped up AI spend even more. In Alphabet's Q1 earnings call, they announced a 43% increase in AI spending to $17 billion. Most of that went into servers and the data centers. They also committed a total investment of $75 billion over
I think I want to work in a data center.
release of
Working in data centers looks so futuristic to me.
Gemini 2.5. But there is another problem. It's not clear if Google and AI really work together. Remember, most of Google's revenue is from advertising. In 2023, advertising made up over 76% of Google's revenue, which was over $230 billion, much of which comes from search. But Gemini means people aren't clicking ads, and now advertisers are losing faith in Google. Raptive, which helps sell digital ads for 5,000 independent creators' websites,
Y'all, I don't click on ads anymore. I've never really have. I never really like. I think I have before, but I just very rarely. You know, I feel like using ads to like buy things or to shop is like an old person thing. You know what I mean? Because us young people, I consider, look, I'm Gen Z. I might be the older Gen Z veteran, but I can still consider myself a young individual right now. And we think of something that we want, or we think of something that we need, and we just search it up on Google and we find it right away. We think of a product, because now you could think of any product and it's gonna exist, right? By the way, we already live in the age of abundance. So you just think of a product, you search it up, and you find the product on Amazon. So who uses ads anymore, bro? The business model of ads is falling off big time. Yet people still make money off it. Well, like YouTube and tech companies still make money off ads because they have a product, they still want to get it out there. But now they're using influencers more than anything.
initially estimated AI overviews could cut visits by as much as 25% and cause the industry to lose $2 billion in annual ad revenue. But now they think that number is maybe on the very low end. Other giants in this space like Chegg have filed lawsuits, saying Google's AI summaries has unjustly retained traffic that has historically come to Chegg, impacting our
That's interesting. Oh my god, that's so interesting that they mentioned Chegg, because I used to use Chegg to find answer to like help me with my like physics homework, my math homework. I used to use Chegg to find the solutions to problems. But now Gemini does that. ChatGPT does that. Gemini does it for free, constant, like in unlimited. You get unlimited problem solving. But with ChatGPT, you don't get unlimited advanced problem solving. So that's interesting, because now you could literally copy paste your problem, paste it onto Google, and Google breaks it down for you, and it does a great job. It does a great job. So now nobody needs to go to Chegg anymore, and good, because F you, Chegg. Because why are you taking students? Students are already broke. Why are you taking their money just to get solutions to questions, just to help them with their homework? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm with this.
Acquisitions, revenue, and employees. It might be okay for ChatGPT to do this, but for Google, this business model was basically their entire business. So in a race to catch up, Google is hurting its own core business. The irony of all of this is that Google was technically the first mover in the AI race. On June 12, 2017, Google researchers published a groundbreaking paper, "Attention is All You Need." As of 2024, that paper has been cited more than 173,000 times and is in the top 10 most cited papers in the 21st century.
What is that?
This is the key foundation of generative AI like ChatGPT, but ChatGPT wasn't launched until late 2022. Google had the holy grail of AI technology, and they had it before anyone else, but Google wasn't interested. Why? Well, when Sundar Pichai was appointed as CEO in 2015, he had a large focus on slimming down. Their big investments into other technologies like Google Glass, Project Loon, Google Fiber, Google Wave hadn't paid off. So instead of AI, they put their focus back into monetizing search. This is when we got those comments from past employees about too many ads. Google's focus on maintaining their monopoly is now what is eroding that monopoly. Ironic. Eden Gomez, a co-author of that groundbreaking paper, realized this technology wasn't going anywhere at Google. It is a matter of the freedom to explore inside a huge corporation like Google. You can't freely do that product innovation. Fundamentally, the structure does not support it, and so you have to go build it yourself. So he left, but not just him. Out of the 8 co-authors of the paper, 7 have left Google, 6 founded startups, and 1 of them joined OpenAI. All of this happened shortly after Sundar Pichai took over and said that Google will move from a mobile-first to an AI-first world. Seems like they only did this when they were actually forced to. Now they're starting to lose their monopoly.
This is actually a main topic in the book 0 to 1, like I said earlier. You have to like join the competition. You have to understand that if you don't like join the trends as a big company, if you don't join the trends, then you're gonna fall off. So he kind of had no choice to join AI.
It's only a few percent for now, but I think this is the beginning of something much bigger. Can they protect their own market share without hurting their own revenue? Google is in a paradox that many companies have faced before, and generally, it doesn't end well. Alright, real talk. Since 2017, we've dropped over 1,050 videos and racked up 100.
That's enough for the video. Thank you for watching. Give a thumbs up if you liked the video. Don't dislike the video if you didn't like it. Just let me know in the comments down below what you think, what your thoughts are, if you got any pointers for me. Besides that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. You could dislike the video too if you want. Don't matter. It do matter though. At least it's gonna tell me something.